Hello everyone and welcome back to Building Nations. We are here once again in the area where I build your guys' suggestions. And in this episode we have another comment from Swanenson_, who says French horn. Previously he had suggested to make a big French horn, so I clarified this with him in the comments, and I am now building a big French horn. Remember to leave your comments on this video or the next Building Nations video, and your build could be the next build that gets put into this area. So, it's time to get building. Alright, it is time to build a French horn, specifically a big French horn. Well, I won't be building a French horn that's larger than normal size, I'll just be building a French horn that's scaled up, I guess. So, I used a reference image for this, obviously, because trying to do something like this without a reference image would be incredibly difficult. Unfortunately, I only have a 2D reference image, so getting all the 3D aspects of a French horn is quite difficult, but I did my best. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't realize how big I had to make it at first in order to actually be able to build everything correctly. So, I mean, I built this and I'm like, wow, this is pretty big. And then I had to change it later because this is not nearly big enough for what I need. It is quite small, in fact, looking at it now after seeing the finished product, which is in the thumbnail, so you've already seen it. But yeah, it's odd. It's a very strange process here. But again, making the end, the bell, that's what it's called. Making the bell, it wasn't too bad. It's a unique shape, so having to fit that in was kind of interesting. But it wasn't too bad to make, at least on this scale. um, and then I just tried to copy the image that I had to the best of my abilities from then on. Um, and, I had some success. The first thing it needed to do was make a circle. Just like a big circle. And getting the size of that right would mean having to change the scale of everything else if it was going to fit all the stuff that had to go in it. Like, there's a lot of stuff in a French horn. I mean, yeah. If you want to just look up an image of a French horn on Google or any other search engine, you'll find there's a lot of tubes and stuff that goes into it. Did I build all of them? Maybe. I tried anyway. Yeah. But anyway, after making the circle, I realized how small that the bell was relative to the size of the circle. So I just I made it with I just extended the size there. I didn't do anything with that for a long time, like until the very end. But that's how big it's going to be once I'm actually finished with it. And it is quite large. Quite large to make. Um, yeah. Uh, Also, the reference image I had is facing the opposite direction from the way you're viewing it now, which meant that if I were to build stuff, you'd be seeing it from the back. So I had to do some modifications there by, moving the camera so that you could all see what exactly is going on from the way that I'm seeing it as well. Because that's how it is. I mean, most images of a French horn that I found had the bell facing to the left. So, I don't know if that's like a common way for French horns to be displayed or something, but that's how they all are. So, there's that. So, the first tubes here are probably the most important tubes because they kind of set the foundation for everything else that's going to go here. So if the first tubes aren't correct, then everything else won't be correct. And I can say that these first tubes are probably not correct. So, I mean, there's that. There you go. Now you can actually see what's going on. Still from the opposite perspective, but oh well, that's okay. It's not too big a deal. You can still see what's happening for the most part. Getting these tubes around is very... And here we are. Okay, well, now you can see what I'm seeing. at least from the same direction. So I noticed on the image that I'm using, the part that I'm building right now is actually like in front of the rest of the like circle thing that I made. Um, so I couldn't really see that in the image until I looked closer and saw that there's actually like 3 layers of tubes, and I only made space for 1 layer of tubes. So, I mean, that would cause problems, but oh well, managed to do what I can with it, do what I could with it. It's just really weird trying to make it all work out, even though there's no way that it should. Yeah. I had to move that part back a layer, because it wasn't in line correctly. So, it's really weird trying to mess with depth perception when I have the sphere being multiple blocks thick already. So even if I move something back a block, it's still within the sphere, which isn't entirely accurate all the time. So it kind of messes me up looking at it, especially from a reference image where everything is perfect the whole time. So it's just kind of weird. That was me moving the part there forward a bit, to match where it should be. And these tubes were also really weird because I wanted to try and connect them to other things, but I couldn't see anything that they connected into. So it was just kind of like hoping and thinking that it might work some way or another. Um, and it was just really, really weird. Also, making that last tube at the bottom that has all the curves was very odd. Like, trying to get a curve shape right with a small scale that was already incorrect, was very strange. I needed more space for that. Probably could have extended those gray lines out a bit more, um, to get the tubes to match up a bit better with how they should actually be. But, oh well, it's not the end of the world. Um, yeah, so, I mean, what you're looking at now is pretty much what I'm seeing when I'm, like, looking at the reference image. There's still some random, like, things in there that are just so, like thin pieces of metal that are incredibly difficult to create at the scale that I'm working with. So if I wanted to make a truly accurate French horn, for one, I'd need a 3D reference image. But for two, I'd probably have to make it even bigger, which is crazy, because I mean, this is pretty big. Like, this is really big. This is probably the most detailed large structure I've ever made. It's so big. And like, is the detail perfect? Absolutely not. Making the shape of this bell was also really strange to do with the shape that I was trying to work with. It's hard. Making a conic structure is not easy. And I don't know if World Edit could even help me with that. I don't know. There might be a World Edit command to make a cone, but with these dimensions, I don't know how good it would look. Or if it would match the shape that I'm trying to go for either. Where it's like not a straight line connecting the edge to the center. I don't know. There's probably a math term that describes the shape that this is, but I don't know it if it exists. And if it doesn't exist, well, I'm gonna name it a curvy cone. That's the official name, assuming it doesn't already exist. Curvy cone. That's how it's gonna be. It probably does already exist, but oh well. Curvy cone. That's what I'm gonna call it. Anytime I have to build a shape like that in the future, curvy cone. That's what it is. It's a curvy cone. It's not anything else. Not a regular cone, because regular cones don't exist. No, it's a curvy cone. Curvy cone. Curvy cone for the bell. Um, so yeah, it's an odd shape. I don't like building curvy cones, even though I did name them, but you know, whatever. I can name things that I don't like. So, I mean, I can do that with any. I can name things that I like too, but in this case, it's something that I don't like. Curvy cone. Not fun to make in Minecraft. It's very difficult. So, there it is. There's the full curvy cone, mostly completed. A couple minor adjustments need to be made to make it look a bit more rounded, but that is pretty much it. That is the full French horn, ready and done. And with that, the French horn, big French horn, sorry, the big French horn is now finished. Yeah, I like it. And I have shaders on now too, by the way, in case you couldn't tell that. I think I'm gonna do shaders for like these ending shots, but not throughout the video, just because I know a lot of people don't really like them. So here they are for now, just to get a nice, good view of the horn from all different angles with all different shadows. I am going to move it using World Edit, probably just like copy and paste it like over here, just so that it's not completely blocking the big old tree. So that's a thing that's going to happen. Alright, and with that, I'm going to leave this here. Remember to leave me your build ideas in the comments, and if your comment gets the most likes on either this video or the next Building Nations video, your build will be featured 2 weeks from now in this area. You can also leave me topics of conversation, things that you want me to talk about while I'm time-lapsing over these, because, you know, I like to hear what you guys want me to say. So, yeah, I'm going to leave this here. Leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, the comment, the feedback you have for me, and I'll see all of you later. Bye.